Hey, it's Pete, and this is Dream Warriors 32. We're going to be going through King Arthur, ouch, and a little bit more Alien. Coffee is sinking in, getting into the bloodstream. So let's hit the music and get started. Let me take a sip of this. I'm not going scalding, boiling hot coffee today. I'm doing nice, refreshing iced coffee with I get this Delight creamer. Delight is, I don't know if Delight is the company or if it's the branded fraction of this company, but they have this Hershey chocolate like caramel, and I mixed that with one giant mug of refrigerated coffee that is French pressed, and it's a stronger blend. But it's so it takes me about 2 whole French presses to fill up this one pitcher of mine, and that just stays in the fridge. And in case, look, if you tuned in for Dream Warriors, just expecting to talk about everything geek. We talk coffee because this is morning with Pete with coffee and news. So we talk coffee here. Yeah. So 2 French presses. Throw them into a pitcher. Throw that pitcher in the refrigerator. Get it nice and cold. And I only use giant ice cubes now. I don't use any smaller ice cube, because they hold the temperature of the water and they don't melt quick and they don't dilute the coffee and cream blend or whatever the heck you want to put into it. But anyway, it's a hell of a mix, and I am pretty disciplined too with stirring the blend with the giant ice cube. I have one of those like bartender giant silver spoons, and you just mix it, circulate, it just turns out fantastic. Look, it's still kicking in, so give me a break. But I don't know, I kind of want to get right into it, because speaking of breaks, I think Guy Ritchie, we gotta look him up real quick, because I'm not 100% with his box office. And look, most of the time when I dial things up, I'm just kind of going to box office mojo. And okay, so Guy Ritchie, adjusted for ticket price inflation, adjusted gross worldwide, unadjusted. So Guy Ritchie, we're talking about him because he is the director of King Arthur that came out this weekend and opened third, got kind of destroyed. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came in with about 60 million, and then it was the new Amy Schumer movie. I forget the name of that movie already. That had like 16, and I think King Arthur came in around 15 or 16. So it was bad. King Arthur 2 budgeted for 175 million, and this time around for this movie, they looked like they went into more of a Lord of the Rings like light fantasy, kind of like, I guess, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones type feel. And Game of Thrones, the way how it portrays fantasy, totally different than Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings had more of the mystical elements in your face. Game of Thrones kind of keeps it behind the curtain, uses it when available, and Hollywood's had a long obsession with King Arthur. The latest big release might have been King Arthur, also directed by Anthony Fuqua from Training Day. And I'm just going strictly off of memory here, so everyone feel free to tweet me and prove me wrong at AKAPAD. You can find me, or Peter A. DeLuca. Find me there too. Just Google it. So, the Anthony Fuqua King Arthur had Clive Owen. I think I'm forgetting who was Lancelot in that. Might have been the Fantastic Four guy. That's a, you know what, I don't, wow. And then it had the girl from Pirates of the Caribbean, Keira Knightley, as like an archer, like a tribal archer, which made for good movie poster art. That was like a super realistic approach. Like the real story, which, they toggle back and forth with. They'll ramp up the fantasy, then 5 or 6 years, maybe longer, goes by. Here's a realistic version. Already forgotten movie. The Thor dude was in a Ron Howard directed. I totally forget the name of this movie, but like a realistic Moby Dick. And that's kind of like, ouch. So, Hollywood plays with ideas. Wants to know what's going to stick, and there's no way of knowing sometimes. So this King Arthur movie kind of looked good. Had high production value. Charlie Hennon. I don't know. I know him as Pacific Rim dude, and I know he's on Sons of Anarchy. He looked like he fit the role. Whatever, right? And then Jude Law was like the evil king, whatever dude. And I love Jude Law, so I'll see anything that he's in. I think he is. It would be nice if he went into more of a character actor approach with his career. I don't know. I don't know what the ins and outs of hiring actors are. I don't know what he has to do for that, but he's so talented, and I love him. Talented Mr. Ripley, I Heart Hucklebees. Might be speaking Greek with those two movies, but fantastic. Yeah, and so this movie opens and gets labeled a immediate bomb, and it's sad because Guy Ritchie is one of the best. And just to go through some of his box office, his most successful movie was the Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law headed Sherlock Holmes. That is roughly at $237 million, which is amazing, considering how few filmmakers actually break 100 million. He did a follow-up with Sherlock Holmes, Game of Shadows, which came out 2 years later. And at this point, that introduced Moriarty, his arch nemesis, which they teased at the end of Sherlock Holmes. And the funny thing is with Sherlock Holmes is that movie kind of ends the same way as Batman Begins. And it became a way of reintroducing the audience to a iconic character. You get away with a lighter villain, lighter adventure, same as Batman Begins. Like Scarecrow or Ra's al Ghul. You're like, okay, I'll watch a movie with those two. But you really want to see the Joker. And same case for Sherlock Holmes. You want to see Sherlock go up against Moriarty, his intellectual nemesis. And again, every great hero has a fantastic opposite. So and I guess at this point we hit a little bit of the dark territory with Guy Ritchie, because he did The Man from U.N.C.L.E. 2 years ago. Man from U.N.C.L.E. domestically hit 45.5 million, with a production budget of 75 million, which is halfway decent. With foreign, it pulled in roughly 110 million, and that's kind of like a break even there, with marketing and everything. And the Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie, that's something I remember reading about since I was a kid. and everyone was connected. I think Tarantino was directing that at one time. George Clooney was starring in it, and Man from U.N.C.L.E. Was a part of the James Bond craze of the early mid '60s, and it was just like, and Uncle also is an acronym, and maybe we should look up. I don't know what the UNCLE stands for in Man of U.N.C.L.E. Let's see here. Let's just hit the wiki. Dream Warriors is solely relying on how quickly you can Google. Okay. I'm not finding. This is sometimes Wikipedia doesn't always. Why don't they just put the definition of the acronym at top? Okay, United Network Command of Law Enforcement. Also had, I think, one of the best TV show logos and opening ever. Okay, so check that out. So, Man from U.N.C.L.E. domestically disappointing, globally breaks even. That makes him still a part of the Hollywood squad. So he gets a giant movie, and that giant movie right now is, I think, his fourth. Well, he has Snatch at the next up. Man from U.N.C.L.E. 48, Snatch at 47. Snatch's budget, what was the? It's not available right now, but it grossed $30 million domestically, $53 million foreign, at $83 million overall take. That's amazing. And then now we have King Arthur, which is his fifth highest grossing movie, and then everything else underneath King Arthur is his lower budgeted, kind of like meat and bones, crime driven movies. But we're seeing with Guy Ritchie, we're seeing a diverse stretch here now, which again, it's rare and unique because he had a niche, kind of like exposed us to it. Everyone bought in on it, and then kind of went into making mainstream Hollywood movies. And look, I don't consider any Hollywood movie mainstream because it's like, you're making a movie for $100 million. You're a general running an army. There's nothing mainstream about that, and you have ideas from every direction and thoughts coming in from everybody, and you're just trying to pick the best thoughts, the best ideas, the best way to swerve, and to make the deadline, make the budget. People always think it's always about too many people just feel like you have to make the deadline when you make a movie, but every single day, the clock's ticking, but so is the bank account. Just money being spent, and you have to come in under budget. But Hollywood always seems a little weird when it comes down to accounting. I don't know. I mean, people want to audit the Fed. I would love to audit the Hollywood business practices, because you get two $100 million movies and they are drastically different. Now, I'm not talking about theme or content. I'm talking like one movie looks like it's $100 million, and the other movie looks like it was made by a couple college kids in their room down the hall from here. Okay, not that there's any college kids here. Yeah, and then we have Rock and Rolla, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Swept Away, what she did with Madonna, his wife at the time. That's when, and Revolver. So he's directed 9 movies, and it's everything from detective drama, adaptation, iconic character Sherlock Holmes, like adaptation, spy, revival, Man from U.N.C.L.E., King Arthur. So those are 3 drastically separate eras, and then he has his outside of Swept Away, his crime saga, which is Snatch, Rock and Rolla, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, and Revolver. And you know what? He's insanely talented. There's a great Joe Rogan had him on like last week. Listen to it, because he is just not, he's just not this movie guy. He's into life, and it's awesome. And I kind of like his demeanor because he doesn't get movie talk when he talks about, like, he doesn't get highbrow. Like, to him, you kind of just tell their movies, their jobs, that's what he does, and he's artistic at the same time. So he's the funnel. So yeah, so I feel bad. The King Arthur legend. I can't say truth because it's kind of like, like you'll never beat the John Boorman adaptation of King Arthur. Let me just see. Let's see here. I just want to see if I can search, like, maybe like a King Arthur kid in King Arthur's court. Oh, by the way, the Clive Owen heralded King Arthur movie came out in, let's see, overall box office for that was 51 million with a budget of 120. So, dude, that even suffered domestically. With foreign though, it came up with 200. So that kind of looked like it broke even. And I can't. No. And I can't read. Sorry, there's an airplane flying right overhead, right nearby. But we're in the morning, so we get birds and airplanes and coffee here. Yeah, so even the 2004 King Arthur movie, didn't hit with audiences. There's only one real King Arthur movie, and it's Excalibur, 1984, directed by John Boorman. Suit design by armor design by Bob Peake. You know him from Dune, the Michael Keaton Batman. Movie poster artwork by Bob Peake. I wish, off the top of my head, I knew who did the score for that, because it's one of the best scores. I feel I say every movie has one of the best scores, but you know what? I mean it. Yeah. Hey, get this. So that movie had a $11 million budget, box office $35 million. That's a winner. You actually get double there. Let's see though. It's also based on Le Morte d'Arthur, which is the French telling of the legend of Excalibur and King Arthur. Oh, dude, the music. Trevor Jones. We know him from The Dark Crystal. Yes. And cinematography, Alex Thompson. And Alex Thompson, we kind of do want to talk about him, because he is another like industrial, like diverse. Most cinematographers like kind of do one of each movie, because they're workhorses. They keep going. But if you know I'm just going off the top of my head. I know he did Labyrinth. I know he did one of the Schwarzenegger early movies. I'm almost positive he did Alien 3. But he might have done Cliffhanger and or Demolition Man. But whatever, it's just awesome. He is insanely talented. That that Excalibur movie is one of the most stacked movies ever, and it will never be topped. It will never be defeated. It's really the one to go to. And yeah, so this weekend I want to jump into this weekend, because on Amazon Prime, Saturday I just locked myself in. It was raining. I didn't even go to the gym. Didn't do any of my food shopping. No meal prep. Locked myself in and basically did eBay and illustrations all day. And holy crap, man, I fell into a black hole. Like a creative black hole where it literally felt like a few days, maybe like 4 or 5 days of me just like working nonstop. Like that's how I was, like I said, black holes control time and distance and all these things, and that's where I was. But Amazon Prime premiered or it populated on Prime. I don't know what that's called when it shows up on the feed. The 2000 AD documentary. 2000 AD is a British anthology comic book series or regular publication similar to heavy metal. I grew up with heavy metal. I didn't grow up with 2000 AD, but I was always aware of it. I had a stack of them from a comic store owner at one point, and he didn't know what to do with them. And they were kind of like newspaper, flimsy, again, like but fantastic artwork, really cool stuff. But it was like a 2-hour documentary. I had to look up who directed it. Paul Goodwin. Paul Goodwin essentially just did a bunch of TV episodes, and he's a TV director. But yeah, that was a nice surprise. So that was like, I kind of like listened to some of it, and stopped and did things, and sat down to watch it, and fantastic work. I kind of disagreed with them taking this position with women again, in that, not that people discover what they like, and they kind of made reference to it. Marvel went through this with their diversity debacle that I think Mark and I are talking about tonight. We're going to have, Mark, for Dream Warriors 33, we're going to have a comic book heavy discussion. I feel like, based on our film conversation. And Norm, maybe episode 30, maybe 34, 35, he'll be here this week for that. I don't know what we're doing with Norm yet. I don't think Norm knows what we're doing with Norm yet. But yeah, so they go into some of the diversity stuff and marketing towards women and letting women work on comics, and it's like, and it's like it takes a position, like maybe like women have a right to just enter into any field and not pay any dues, and it kind of came off a little bit like that. It also came off as weak and apologetic, and you don't apologize for the way things are if it's not harmful. Women, I grew up, no girls read comics. Now, now you want to go down and get dirty with some of these girls that read comics. Like, you want to marry them, you want to swoon them, because they're beautiful women that are into this stuff now. And there was no marketing campaign that turned women on the comic books and geek culture. The girls took it themselves, and they picked what they liked. And there's a few creators out there. I think per capita, I will say that I think female creators are more effective within comics than men are. But there's other factors for that. But that if you want a data point to run up the hill with, take that one. But and like DC tried to give like Fiona Avery, Wonder Woman, they tried to give like some of these titles female creators, give them to female creators, and it's just like it turns out the way it turns out. Okay. Usually for forgettable stories. Top Cow tried to do that with Witchblade. Again, forgettable. Witchblade for Top Cow, Ron Mars versus everyone else. I'm sorry, David Wohl, Ron Mars. They're the two guys. And Witchblade was a throwaway idea that basically exploited women. The female bad girl craze of the mid 90s that Wizard magazine promoted. Witchblade was the cream of the crop for those books. Second one was like Lady Death. Third one was She, created by Bill Tucci, who is a phenomenal artist. But yeah, so those two guys basically kept a throwaway idea going. So I don't know. I mean, it's a tough thing, but the documentary kind of spins off into that tangent where I kind of tuned out. But they also go into they skimmed over some of the creator rights and how they viewed creator rights and how they wanted to keep the copyrights and the trademarks. Like, that's a more substantial discussion than going the female route and being apologetic about not marketing to girls. Not that there's anything they could have done. Dude, like, you know how many girls I know that got, including my ex, got totally into the Avengers because of Loki and saw that movie repeatedly, or got into Winter Soldier because of Bucky. I had a girl here, amazing boobalos, by the way, here, lushing over Chris Evans and Hemsworth, Thor and Captain America, showing pictures on her phone. I grew up like no girl with boobalos as magnificent as these would ever have a picture with an actor who portrayed Captain America, or even know about Civil War and know the broad strokes. But this girl also potentially fake geek, but whatever. Still way better than what I grew up with. People find what they like. They discover what they like. You can't engineer it. You can't design it. But whatever. So it's a fantastic documentary on the sole fact that this is a part of geek lore. It's a part of the history. It's a part of the people that put their blood, sweat, and tears into this work for little financial gain. Remember that. This is the lesson we walk away with 2000 AD. If you hit my Facebook, we're just jumping here because I wanted to post it. I posted it yesterday. Find me on Facebook. I have a personal page. I also have a business page. Attractive women, find me on the personal page, please. Okay, do that first. Like the business page, but find me on that. And you might be like, oh, how am I attractive? You know what? I don't know. I'm usually on whiskey, liquored up on whiskey anyway. Most women are freaking attractive even by 10 o'clock in the morning. So, I'm teasing. So, getting to my Facebook page, I have the Todd McFarlane documentary. I don't like piracy. I'm animately against it. But I love this documentary with Todd McFarlane so much. I found it on YouTube. I posted it. Go there and watch it. He makes an awesome point in the beginning, too, about rich people that I love. And he goes, people knock rich people. And, this documentary was made way before the war on the rich even happened. But he says, I filled more potholes in this town than you because of my taxes. And that's Todd. Incredible documentary. You also see him rip some of his crew over poses for hockey players. And they're going through that. And it's like he corners this one guy by, I think they're talking about Lindros and Gretzky and what poses of the figures represent those guys, and they're like, well, such and such, and he's like, no, he's like they're all in all of these poses throughout the course of a game. There's no pose for any player, and it's an awesome insight. So we have more traction. I wanted to kind of go into the Alien movies because I kind of read this. We're getting a lot of airplane activity today. We're getting like a little bit of this like Prometheus. Prometheus was a movie directed by Ridley Scott, came out in 2012, and man, it's weird. Because I rewatched it. I talked about on the last episode. It was on Amazon Instant for like $5, so I'm like, that's fate. Sat down, watched it. I think that was like the last thing I tried to do on Saturday. Crashed out. Slept a few hours, woke up really early on Sunday, and kind of went back and finished watching it. And I don't know why people hate this movie. I think it's awesome. I think it's well shot. I think it's well acted, well designed. It's everything. It's stacked. And I kind of went through knowing what some of the criticisms are, like the universal ones that I think destroy how we view movies anymore. Which is like there's two scientist guys, and there's a snake thing, and they poke it, and then it kills them. Okay, so and people act like scientists would never do that. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know any scientists that discover new species. I don't know any scientist that actually travels to foreign worlds and discovers new species. So I don't know how these scientists, quote unquote, would act. Rewatching the scene and watching it with new eyes, and that's the important thing. Just watch some of these movies with new eyes and drop everything. I'm not saying accept it like for being dumb or whatever. No, like watch these movies with new eyes, please. There was like a whimsy in that discovery, and these two characters were trapped in the tunnels, and they're in a situation they don't want to be in. Like they're in a tough situation, and there is kind of like a mental breakdown. That's kind of like the way, because I really forgot almost everything about the movie. To me, the Prometheus movie builds into David's head getting ripped off and the engineer dude beating someone to death with the head. Fantastic, by the way. Because like there's someone out there that we want to do that with. There's two people out there that we want to rip the head off of one and beat the other to the death with that head. So, with that one contention put aside, it's a little bit funny that this movie gets knocked, because I love the score. The music notes are amazing in this movie, and just had to refill my coffee. So yeah, so drilling down through the Alien franchise, Prometheus, which is technically not even an Alien movie. The only real connection is the Wayland Corporation, but whatever. But Prometheus with it, like new fresh set of eyes. This movie holds up. I got the genealogy of the evolution of the black slime. The intent of the black slime was more clear and evident, meaning that the engineers wanted to destroy humanity after creating humanity for whatever reason, and something happened. Something happened for the engineers to want to eradicate humanity, and that's what the xenomorph is, which is like, now I don't know what happens once things evolve in, but it's like the xenomorph is part of a perfect biological weapon to ensure the death of humanity. I don't know what they plan to do when the xenomorph kills everyone on Earth at that time. 2,000 years worth of people on Earth. Like, what do you do at that point? Like, does the xenomorph like die off? I don't know. Like, were they going to die off in a few years in the colony on in Aliens? I don't know. Maybe that's going to be addressed in Alien Covenant, but really got me more excited for Covenant, because now it's kind of like we know that they go into Prometheus, and these are just things you kind of want to know, and I'm just into it. So a lot of people are like, box office wise with inflation. Let's just go through the Alien movie. So Alien, 1979, roughly $280 million. Huge for the day. Aliens, 5 years later, 86, $202 million. See, people want to act like Aliens is like the shiznit, but it's $80 million less than its predecessor. Think about that. 2012, Prometheus, $140 million for adjusted gross. Alien 3, 1992, $120 million. Aliens vs. Predator, commonly referred to as AVP, 2004, $114 million. I remember watching this with Ken, who I did the one comic book with, and we were so amped for AVP. We had the McFarlane action figures, hitting a toy store every day. I think there was the netted Alien. There was one called Net that had the scars of the shrinking alien net that they use in that kind of like trapped the alien, then it shrunk, because the Predators actually have cooler toys and weapons than Batman could ever imagine. That's at 214, but man, we were so excited for that movie. Alien Resurrection, 1997. I guess people hate, that's referred to the second of the worst of the franchise. We already discussed this on the previous Coffee and News episode. Maybe not the case. 92 million. AVP, Aliens vs. Predator, Requiem, 2007 at $52 million. The premise for AVP alone, no one bought in on. I'm sorry. Aliens are on modern day Earth in a forest situation with a predator alien running around. They have to get that out of the franchise. Xenomorphs should just be xenomorphs, and it should vary in design per movie, because you got to pay these guys something to do. Xenomorphs adapting their host is just completely ridiculous. I came from the Kenner toy line, and somehow that became canon. And like somewhat like forwarded in Alien 3, but it's so understated in Alien 3. Like you could easily get away from it. But yeah, so yeah, Alien Covenant. I think I don't know. Like Prometheus, I think did a $52 million opening. Right. Let's just do some clicking here. What was Prometheus's opening? Over here. Oh, sorry. I'm losing my tabs. Prometheus right here. Worldwide, wow, Prometheus. $403 million. Budget $130. Holy kaboli. That movie looks like it's a $200 million movie. You know, again, retrospective, a couple years go by, King Arthur's at 175, and you can just tell from the trailers, that does not look like Prometheus. Different movies, by the way, too, but meaning they're shot differently, the intent's different. It comes in through the production. Opening weekend for Prometheus, $51 million. Yeah, so is Alien Covenant going to beat that? I think it is. I think it's going to come in over. I think people are just excited, and it's not just saying Alien and them having xenomorphs. I think people want to know really what happened after Prometheus. And it doesn't have to be you don't need a Prometheus sequel to do that. Why? That makes no sense. I would have loved it if they did that, though, and had like a different title and just stuck to their guns. But look, these studios need to make movies like this so they can make other movies. So movies like Lion, the Nightcrawler, and I mean, even though like some of them are made with different circumstances, but it's all part of the same apparatus. The bigger movies help support the smaller movies. That's a part of the business. It trickles down. So it is important to make King Arthur a success. It is important. If it sucks, let it rot, let it fail. But I'm getting the sentiment that King Arthur is not a horrible movie. Prometheus is not a bad movie. Okay, you have to sit down and watch these movies constructively with an open mind and do like a brain dump of everything you may have heard, read, and seen before. And you know, like again, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with someone that just liked them. They thought they were funny. And this girl's like, and then the movie's going, and she looks over to me. Opening credit sequence, the Mr. Blue Sky Baby Groot dance, and she goes, "We're 5 minutes into this movie, and I already love it." That's your audience, okay? The core of the geeks, the high horse mother effers, they're not the audience. They're actually the vocal minority disrupting how we view things, how things are absorbed. They have to be snuffed out. I think the day for some of this conversation is over, hopefully. And look, keep in mind, you heard a lot of this stuff first on Dream Warriors. But look, it is. I gotta get going. I gotta hit the office. I gotta do some work. A couple things. Gotta patch 1 or 2 panels today in the good old server room. Let me get to that. But I just want to reiterate: go into these movies just wanting to, enjoy a production. Okay, no one thinks you're insanely intelligent if you have views on movies. Trust me. Okay, no one cares about the plot holes in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. No one even cares why it's called Revenge of the Sith and how it's a nod to Revenge of the Jedi. No one really cares. Trust me. There's like other things they care about. Okay, like right here, I got a history of the Hershey Company book that I've been reading. Oh, what's this? Yeah, sorry. People want to know about that. Learn things outside of just sitting down, getting high horse on movies. Learn different things. Okay, that's what people will respect you over. They will not respect you if you go into some dribble about how the Transformer movies are disgusting and horrible and Michael Bay only does explosions, and which is such a dumb argument. Look, you just set yourself up later in life. Trust me. So, but look, let me get going. And enough of that little pep talk. We're at a solid 40 minutes here. I thought today was going to be like a 30-minute, 20-minute episode, but the coffee gets me going. The Java surges through the blood, and I think my pops is swinging by in a little bit to pick up some packages, some shipping. Cause hey, I've already been up for a few hours, already kicking ass. I know many of you, even when I'm recording this, you're just still sleeping. Your kids are jumping on your bed. Your dogs are pissing on the carpet. The sun's almost fully erect, and so am I. And on that, we are out of here.